The twin suns of Illyra, 9 burned low across the horizon, washing the desert in bronze light. Dust lifted in slow spirals where the wind slipped between the dunes, carrying a metallic scent that never belonged to nature. Dr. Marcus Hale stood knee-deep in that alien sand, his visor streaked with grit, and for the first time in 3 months of excavation, he felt a pulse of genuine excitement. Beneath his boots, scanners showed a solid shape, metallic, humanoid, enormous. "Rian, you're going to want to see this," Marcus called, tapping the readout. His voice echoed faintly through the comms. Dr. Rian Torres trudged over, expression perpetually annoyed, the kind of man who had traded laughter for precision. He stared at the screen, then at the half-buried figure emerging from the ground like a god resurrected from myth. "That's not just sculpture," he muttered. "Look at those energy readings. It's still active." Behind them, Lieutenant Jackson Vore kept a silent watch, rifle hanging at his side. He was the only soldier among scientists, a man built from discipline and suspicion. "Active how?" he asked. "Like radioactive? Or like it might decide to get up and stretch?" Marcus smirked. "Probably just old batteries." "Relax, Lieutenant. Worst case, it hums at us." The excavation drones cleared away the remaining sand, revealing the full form. 3 meters tall, sleek and impossibly intact despite the millennium of erosion. The statue was carved, or perhaps grown, from seamless obsidian glass veined with gold filigree that pulsed faintly under the setting suns. Its face was serene, neither male nor female, its features too perfect to be human. Rian crouched near the base, tracing engraved sigils with gloved fingers. Language structures Ellerathian. Pre-collapse era, possibly before the Second Exodus. This shouldn't even exist. He looked up sharply. "Marcus, if these inscriptions are authentic, this could rewrite history." "Yes, the usual speech." Marcus grinned beneath his helmet, brushing dust from his hands. "Let's just get the scans done before it rewrites my sleep schedule." He had spent most of his career chasing dead civilizations, but nothing had ever looked this alive. The statue's surface seemed to drink in the light, shadows shifting across its skin in ways that made it appear to breathe. Instruments whispered with static, magnetic fields oscillated without pattern. It was beautiful, eerie, and impossible all at once. Rian's voice cracked through the comms again. "There's text around the pedestal, translating now." He frowned at the hollow display. "The one who waits." "That's comforting," Jackson muttered. Marcus chuckled, trying to pierce the tension that had thickened like static. "Maybe it's waiting for a kiss. Ancient interstellar Prince Charming anyone." Rian didn't look amused. "Marcus." But Marcus was already leaning closer. The surface was cold enough to bite through his gloves, smooth as liquid glass. Up close, the golden veins pulsed in rhythm, almost like a heartbeat buried under stone. The joke hung in the air, too tempting to resist. He pressed his helmet lightly against the statue's cheek and made an exaggerated kissing sound. "There. Your 1,000-year nap is officially over." For a heartbeat, nothing happened. Then the ground shifted under his knees. The air vibrated, subtle at first, then violent enough to rattle the equipment. The light veins flared like molten rivers, flooding the site in gold. Every drone froze mid-motion, their systems screaming interference alerts. Marcus stumbled back, hands raised instinctively. "Rian, what the hell did I just do?" Rian was staring, pale under his visor. "It blinked," he whispered. Marcus turned. The statue's eyes, once obsidian black, now burned with soft amber light. They were not mechanical lenses but something deeper, like the glow of embers behind glass. The serene expression had shifted by an imperceptible degree, enough to suggest awareness. Jackson took a step forward, rifle raised. "Doctor, move away from it. Now." But Marcus couldn't move. Every hair on his arms stood rigid, his breath hitched. The glow flickered, pulsing in time with his heartbeat. A sound threaded through the air, not quite a voice, not quite a vibration, but something in between. "Did you hear that?" Marcus asked, voice cracking. Rian's scanner emitted a high-pitched whine. It's broadcasting an electromagnetic pulse, no, a pattern. Like neural activity. Jackson steadied his aim, though there was nothing to shoot at but awe. Say the word, Hale. Marcus shook his head, transfixed.
No, wait.
Listen. The vibration coalesced into faint syllables, drawn out and distant, like something trying to remember how to speak.
Human.
The words sliced through the calm silence. Even the desert wind seemed to stop. Rian stumbled backward, tripping over a crate. That's impossible. It can't know. Marcus felt the sound reverberate inside his chest. It wasn't just speaking to them, it was speaking through them. For a second, he saw something that wasn't there, a vision, maybe, or a memory not his own. A field of stars reflected in the eyes of beings like the statue, surrounding a human silhouette reaching toward them. Then it was gone, leaving only the hollow hum of dying machinery. Systems are fried, Rian said, slapping at his console. Every sensor, every drone dead. Jackson moved closer, voice low. We're pulling out. Whatever that thing is, it's not dormant anymore. Marcus turned back toward the statue. Its eyes had dimmed again, but not completely. Faint light still pulsed beneath the surface, slow, rhythmic, alive. The sand at its feet shimmered with residual energy like heat waves on asphalt. He wanted to speak, to demand an explanation from the impossible. But no words came. Instead, the silence pressed heavier, filled with the unspoken certainty that they had crossed some line that had waited 1,000 years to be crossed. Rian's voice trembled slightly. It said, human. That's not coincidence. It recognized us. Marcus glanced between them, then back to the statue. Maybe, he said quietly. Or maybe we just woke up something that remembers us better than we remember ourselves. The last light of the suns dipped below the dunes. Shadows swallowed the excavation site, leaving only the faint golden glow pulsing like a heartbeat in the dark. They stood there, 3 men and a sleeping god, listening to the silence hum. And somewhere in that silence, Marcus thought he heard a second whisper, softer than breath, too faint to be certain. Legacy. He turned sharply, but the sound was gone. Only the statue remained, eyes half closed, as if waiting for the next word. You said.
The desert around them shivered in an unnatural heat wave, though the suns had long disappeared below the horizon. The golden glow from the statue bathed the site in surreal light, casting long, jagged shadows over sand dunes that had slept undisturbed for a millennium. Marcus Hale's knees buckled slightly as he stumbled backward, his fingers brushing the sand where the statue's pulse seemed to linger. Every instrument on the site had gone haywire, from the drones frozen mid-air to the portable scanners vibrating in their cases like panicked insects. Rian Torres adjusted his visor, eyes wide behind the glass. The neural readings, Marcus. It's alive in some sense. The pulse isn't random, it's deliberate. Patterns, sequences almost like thought waves. He trailed off, voice tight. We've never... Don't finish that sentence, Marcus interrupted. He stepped closer, drawn in spite of himself. The amber glow from the statue's eyes reached deep into his chest, a warmth that contradicted the chill creeping over his spine. Whatever it is, Rian, it wants us here. Or at least, it wants me here. Jackson remained the perimeter, rifle trained but unsteady. It wants to kill you, Hale. That's what it wants. Do not approach it. Marcus ignored him. There was no malice in the glow, no threat that he could detect. Only an odd intelligence that felt curious, patient, and ancient. Tentatively, he placed his gloved hand on the smooth obsidian surface. The veins of gold thrummed beneath his touch, like blood in a long-forgotten heart. A vibration hummed through him, soft at first, then escalating. He gasped, jerking his hand back, and the hum coalesced into a voice, not spoken aloud, but projected directly into his mind. Fragmented, distant, yet piercingly intimate. Who, man, return legacy. Marcus stumbled. It's in my head, he whispered, eyes darting to Rian. Rian's hand hovered over his scanner. No, Marcus. We're all receiving it, but it's selective. like it knows who we are. This isn't language. It's communication at the synaptic level. Jackson's grip on his rifle tightened. I said get back. Now. That's a warning pulse. I don't care if it talks to your brain. Hell, it's a weapon. Marcus pressed a finger to his lips and shook his head. No, listen. I can feel it. It's not a weapon, not yet. It's alive, and it's trying to tell us something. The statue's surface rippled, a subtle undulation that made the surrounding sand dance in fine golden waves. Marcus couldn't explain why, but he felt compelled to touch it again. The second contact sent a shock wave through the desert air, not destructive but electrifying. Images flashed behind his closed eyes. Humans standing beside towering alien figures, silhouettes etched against suns long dead. It was a history not written in any book he had studied, a collaboration lost of memory, but preserved in this being. He gasped aloud, collapsing to one knee. They knew us. They shaped us, guided us. We were never alone. Rian crouched beside him, scanning the images. This isn't possible. Genetic divergence, evolutionary timelines, it shouldn't match. His voice trembled despite his usual composure. We're seeing memories or a record of our ancestors. But how? Jackson's voice cut sharply through the reverie. Enough speculation. We're standing on alien soil, with an ancient intelligence literally looking at us. How do we know it's friendly? Marcus looked up, amber eyes reflected in the statue's glow. I don't know, but it's reaching out, not attacking. It wants something. Look at me. It recognized me. You. Rian sputtered, incredulous. Why you? Why anyone? The statue shifted slightly, tilting its head. Its eyes burned brighter, amber veins pulsating. The voice inside Marcus's head was clearer now. Words threading with urgency. Ere to memory awaken. Marcus's stomach churned with a cocktail of fear and awe. It knows my DNA, he murmured. Something in me connects to them. Jackson's hand trembled around his rifle. This is exactly what I warned you about. You're a lab rat for some goddamn alien AI. Marcus shook his head. No, Jackson, it's not AI. It's sentience, ancient and alive. And it's trying to teach us something. The wind picked up, whipping sand into the air. The hum from the statue intensified, harmonics forming patterns visible in the air like golden waves. The desert became an orchestra of light and vibration. Marcus's thoughts blurred with visions of Eliras cities, shimmering towers of light, alien beings extending hands toward humans. He could feel their intentions, not commands, but hopes, memories, a plea, remember us. Rian's voice broke through the haze. Marcus, step back. We need to record this, analyze it. Don't get lost in whatever that is. Marcus looked at him, eyes wide, and then back at the statue. The amber glow softened, pulsing like a heartbeat. Human legacy fulfill. The voice was a whisper now, almost gentle yet insistent. He swallowed hard. It's giving us a choice, he said quietly. It's showing us the purpose. Something only we can decide to accept. Jackson shook his head, rage and fear worn on his face. Or it's bait, and we're the trap. You're letting it manipulate you. Marcus's hand hovered over the statue again, trembling. Maybe, he admitted. But what if it's not manipulation? What if it's opportunity? We're standing on the threshold of something no human has seen in 1,000 years. The sand beneath their feet shimmered again, faintly, as if the desert itself had recognized the awakening. Drones flickered back to life, struggling to interpret the electromagnetic chaos. The statue's eyes blinked slowly, deliberately. Its lips moved imperceptibly, whispering something older than memory. Marcus felt it in his bones, a resonance that carried meaning without sound. Legacy, he breathed. Rian froze. Did you feel that too? Jackson lowered his rifle slightly, unease etched across his face. Whatever that was, it just sealed the deal. This thing, it's alive, and it's aware of us. All of us. And it's not done yet. Marcus stood, knees stiff, heart hammering with anticipation. He looked at the two men beside him, the skeptic and the soldier, and said, We've crossed the line. There's no going back. It chose to wait for us. Now it wants us to act. The desert swallowed their shadows, leaving only the golden pulse of the statue's eyes illuminating the empty dunes. Sand whispered across the ground like a forgotten language. Somewhere in that silence, Marcus could swear he heard again, a voice soft, certain, echoing directly in his mind. To remember is to become. He took a deep breath and stepped closer. Whatever waited in that ancient glow, it had awakened. Not just a statue, but the beginning of something far larger than any of them could comprehend. The glow from the statue had settled into a steady pulse, casting long golden shadows across the dune-strewn excavation site. Marcus Hale knelt before it, palms pressed against the smooth obsidian, feeling a rhythm that was both alien and familiar. Images continued to flash behind his eyelids, visions of Elirath's city suspended in starlight, of beings taller than men, luminous and graceful, standing beside humans dressed in primitive armor. The humans moved with purpose, coordinated, yet guided by something intangible. It was as if the past itself was reaching forward, embedding memory directly into Marcus's consciousness. Rian Torres hovered near the pedestal, running constant scans and muttering numbers that barely made sense. Energy fluxes are off the charts, he said, voice tight. Temporal resonance, quantum echoes. I can't even begin to classify this. Marcus, it's like a living archive. Every pulse is a memory, not just stored, but experienced. Jackson Vor leaned against the support beam of their temporary lab module, rifle slack at his side, eyes scanning the shifting sands. I told you this was bad. You touch it. It touches you back in ways you don't understand. That's how this ends badly, trust me. Marcus shook his head, his mind swimming with the visions. No, Jackson, this is bigger than danger. Look at what it's showing me. Humans, thousands of years ago, working with Elirath. Allies, partners. We were a part of their civilization. Rian's gaze darted between Marcus and the holographic shimmer visions projected faintly in the air. It's rewriting history in real time. It's proof of interaction we've always speculated about, but never confirmed. Humans didn't evolve in isolation. There was guidance, mentorship, possibly even genetic influence. Jackson's jaw tightened. Guidance or manipulation? There's a difference. You're talking about some alien relic shaping the human race, and now you're buddy-buddy with it. Marcus exhaled sharply. It's not shaping anymore. It's reaching out, and it recognizes me. Look at the pulse. It reacts directly to me. The statue's surface rippled again, not violently, but subtly, as if breathing. Golden veins quivered, illuminating symbols along its arms that had previously gone unnoticed. They were intricate, spiraling patterns that seemed to align with Marcus's own biosignature. He felt the resonance deep in his bones, a warmth that spread through his chest, tingling at the tips of his fingers. Rian scanned the patterns frantically. These are alignment markers. Genetic, yes, but also temporal. Marcus, your DNA. It carries a marker from the original human Elirath hybrids. You're an heir of sorts, Marcus finished, voice barely above a whisper. I knew something about me was different, but this is beyond anything I imagined. Jackson cursed under his breath, running a hand over his stubbled chin. Heir to what? A bunch of glowing rocks that talk to you in your head? No thanks. Marcus ignored him, eyes locked on the statue. The amber glow intensified, and with it came a new, clearer voice, resonating within his mind. Awaken the beacon. Remember, fulfill the promise. Rian staggered backward, tripping over a piece of debris. Beacon? Promise? What promise? Marcus, we need to think rationally. You don't know what that thing means by beacon. Could be a call to arms for something hostile. We could be signing our own deaths here. Marcus shook his head slowly, feeling the weight of the visions pressing against him. No, it's not a threat. Not yet. It's giving us a choice. We can activate knowledge, awaken the legacy, or we can walk away and leave history buried in the sand. Jackson's rifle drooped in his hands. You realize there's a very real chance that choice will get all three of us killed, right? Marcus felt the pulse of the statue synchronize with his own heartbeat. The resonance was undeniable. To awaken is to remember. To remember is to become. It whispered, not just a sound, but a certainty embedded into his very mind. Rian scanning instruments began to register new energy spikes. The statues beneath the sand, countless and dormant, were beginning to stir. Tiny pulses echoing the main statue signal. Marcus, if this is what I think it is, activating the main beacon will wake the others across multiple sites in the system. That's not just history. It's interstellar exposure. If there's a hostile force out there, they'll notice immediately. Marcus swallowed, feeling the enormity of the decision settle like a weight in his chest. I understand. But if humans are the heirs of this legacy, we've already waited too long to be cautious. If we don't awaken it now, everything preserved, knowledge, history, guidance, will be lost forever. I can't let that happen. Jackson's hands clench into fists. And if you're wrong, you're condemning every living human in the system to something we don't understand. Rian's eyes softened, a mix of fear and awe. Or we could finally understand who we truly are and what we were meant to be. Marcus, I don't like this, but I can't deny the evidence. It's compelling. Marcus rose slowly, placing both hands on the statue's shoulders. The amber glow enveloped him, and the vibrations in the sand intensified. He felt knowledge pouring in, flashes of Elirath archives, star maps, formulas of technologies long forgotten. The past and present converged in that pulse, whispering directly to his mind. Jackson stepped closer, albeit warily, lowering his weapon. If you do this, there's no turning back. Marcus nodded. I know, but it's not about me. It's about humanity's memory, our promise to them. Whatever this is, it's our responsibility now. The statue's eyes brightened to a blinding amber. Its voice, clear and resonant, echoed in every corner of Marcus's mind. Awake and fulfill human legacy. The vibrations rippled through the desert, across dunes and into the horizon, touching every dormant marker hidden beneath the sands. The golden light surged upward, piercing the darkening sky, and Marcus felt the first stirrings of the wider network. The statues were alive in resonance, waiting for activation. His chest swelled with fear and exhilaration. He could hear the future calling through the pulse, distant yet insistent. Rian grabbed his shoulder. Marcus, be careful. We don't know what else is out there or what consequences this will have. Marcus looked at the two men, one his friend, one his protector, and felt the gravity of the choice pressing upon him. His hand hovered over the final activation node. Trembling, he felt the statue's warmth, the weight of thousands of years, the anticipation of knowledge lost to time. I don't know if we'll survive, he said softly, but humanity has waited 1,000 years for this moment. It's time we remembered who we are and what we're capable of. The statue's golden veins flared brighter, the amber eyes locked onto Marcus, and a voice, older than memory, stronger than time, reverberated inside him. To remember is to become. The sand whispered across the dunes like 1,000 voices rising in agreement, and Marcus reached out. The desert trembled. The journey to the human legacy had begun. The pulse of light from the statue spread outward like ripples in a cosmic pond, washing over the dunes and setting the dormant markers beneath the sand to life. Marcus Hale stood at its base, chest tight with anticipation, feeling the weight of millennia pressing into him through every touch of the golden veins. Around him, the desert hummed with awakened energy, a resonance that carried not just knowledge, but expectation. He realized that he wasn't merely witnessing the human legacy. He was becoming its conduit. Rian Torres clutched his scanner, eyes wide in a mixture of awe and fear. Marcus, it's activating the network. Every statue we've mapped, they're coming online. Systems, energy pulses, neural signals. I've never seen anything like this. Jackson Vore, rigid as ever, kept his weapon trained on the horizon, though it was unnecessary now. The desert no longer felt empty. Every pulse of golden light suggested presence, intent, awareness. You realize we might have just triggered a galactic alarm, he muttered, voice tight. If someone or something noticed us out here, we're already on their radar. Marcus didn't respond immediately. His hands hovered over the smooth obsidian, feeling every nuance of the heartbeat beneath the surface. Then, slowly, he allowed the visions to reclaim him. He was no longer simply a man touching a statue. He was standing in a vast hall of light, surrounded by Elirath figures that shimmered like stars made flesh. They were tall, elegant, radiating purpose, and all of them focused on him. "You carry the memory," one of them said, its voice both everywhere and inside him. "You are the heir of what was lost. To awaken is to remember. To remember is to guide." Marcus swallowed, all threatening to buckle his knees. What does it mean for humanity? The Elirath shimmered, 1,000 forms merging into one, projecting scenes of humans across centuries. Wars fought, alliances built, innovation sparked. All bore the fingerprints of ancient guidance, subtle, hidden, yet shaping the arc of civilizations. They were always meant to awaken. You have rekindled what was dormant. Now humanity must decide its place among the stars. Their choice will determine the balance of what remains. Rian's voice broke through his trance, trembling. "Marcus, the beacon. It's more than a signal. Activating the full network will be seen across the star system and beyond. Hostile entities could arrive. Are we ready?" Jackson added, low and bitter. "Or maybe we just thrown open a door that was never meant to be opened." Marcus nodded slowly, understanding the weight of both perspectives. "I know, but history has waited 1,000 years for us. We've already been chosen, whether we accept it or not. I can't ignore this. Humanity needs to remember what it once promised, and what it can become." The amber glow intensified, flooding the desert in brilliance that nearly blinded them. Golden waves rippled across the dunes, reaching deep into buried markers, awakening statues across distant moons, planets, and orbital installations. Marcus felt the resonance pass through him, connecting him to every active node, every flicker of recognition that had waited patiently for a human hand to awaken it. Rian stared in disbelief. "It's synchronizing. All of them. Everywhere. Marcus, you're not just touching a statue. You're connecting a network of consciousness." Jackson's voice was low, almost reverent. "I still think this would get us killed, but it's incredible." The visions intensified. Marcus saw humanity spread among the stars, guided subtly by echoes of the Elirath, influencing and learning, growing in ways forgotten but never lost. And then he saw what the Elirath had always hoped for. A humanity mature enough to inherit wisdom without domination, to wield power with conscience, to awaken fully. A gentle warmth spread from the statue into his core, a pulse that carried words without sound. "You are the bridge. Fulfill the promise." Marcus turned to the two men beside him. "Rian, Jackson, I can't do this alone. Whatever comes next, humanity must face it together, as witnesses and as guides." Rian swallowed hard, while softening his usual skepticism. "Then we stand with you, but we need to be careful. Every step now has consequences." Jackson exhaled, voice firm but less guarded than before. "Fine. Just don't let it get any ideas about mind control or cosmic manipulation. We follow your lead so long as we all walk away alive." Marcus's hand settled on the statue, now steady and warm, pulsing with energy that felt like a heartbeat of the galaxy itself. He closed his eyes and allowed himself to sink into the resonance, feeling the threads of human and Elirath histories intertwine, guiding him forward. He felt the weight of responsibility, the clarity of purpose, and the undeniable connection that made him more than human in that moment. He was a vessel, a witness, a bridge between past and future. The desert around them trembled, not violently, but subtly, as if the planet itself acknowledged the awakening. Sand shifted, golden light danced across the dunes, and every shadow held a whisper of movement. From distant markers, faint pulses of light spread outward, signaling that the network of statues had acknowledged the activation. Marcus stepped back, raising his head to the sky. Across the horizon, constellations shimmered unusually bright, rearranging subtly, almost as if they themselves were a message. A sense of possibility, of legacy, washed over him. He could feel the pulse of a human legacy extending beyond Illyria 9, reaching out toward every world, every human settlement, waiting for recognition, waiting for action. The statue, now dimming slightly as its energy spread outward, radiated one final, soft glow into Marcus's hands. Its voice, internal but undeniable, whispered, "Remember, awake and become." Rian stepped forward, awestruck. "Marcus, it's done. Or maybe just begun." Jackson lowered his weapon fully, the tension leaving his frame. "Yeah, something tells me this isn't over. But at least we're alive to see it." Marcus took a deep breath, feeling the pulse fade to a steady rhythm beneath the sand. It's the beginning of a new chapter for humanity. We've been called to remember, and now we must act. The twin sons of Illyra. 9 rose slowly on the horizon, gilding the desert in pale light. Somewhere deep beneath the dunes, faint golden pulses continued to ripple outward, signaling the awakening of a legacy that had waited 1,000 years for human hands. Marcus looked at Rian and Jackson, a quiet determination in his eyes. "We'll make them remember," he said softly. "Humanity will rise again, not just as survivors, but as the stewards of a promise older than ourselves." The desert whispered in reply, a chorus of echoes rising from buried statues and the wind itself, carrying the name of the forgotten architects of the galaxy, the Elirath. And somewhere in the pulse of light and memory, the human legacy began. "You said,